This House will come back to order. House will come back to order. The clerk will ring the bell. So we got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privilege resolutions.
Commending Nancy Gale Hamp for her service in the Armed Forces and recognizing February 16, 2021 as Female Veterans Day at the State Capitol. Commending Jacqueline Perry Blaylock for her service in the Armed Forces and recognizing February 16, 2021 as Female Veterans Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Helen Ho, honoring the accomplishments of Barry Gordy Jr., honoring the accomplishments of George Edward Simmons Sr., honoring the accomplishments of Australia Darden Cochran, honoring the accomplishments of Dr. Alan E. Gray, honoring the accomplishments of Pastor Henry Lewis Tanner, honoring the accomplishments of Annie Ruth Darden Gilbert, honoring the accomplishments of Manzi T. Broxton, recognizing the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, recognizing May 2021 as Jewish Georgian Heritage Month, and honoring the contributions of the Jewish community of the state of Georgia, recognizing and congratulating Dr. Mark P. Becker upon his retirement as president of Georgia State University, recognizing and commending the Atlanta Black Chambers, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We are going back to the rules calendar. Going back to the rules calendar. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 275.
House Bill 275 by Representative McDonald, the 26th and others, being entitled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 25, and Article 3 of Chapter 11 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to firefighter standards and training and to emergency medical services personnel. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Have we met? We have? Okay. Word has it you're a member of the funeral home caucus. Yes. You know, they used to say lawyers ran this place. Now it's undertakers. First bill. Yes. Congratulations. Chair recognizes Representative McDonald to present the bill.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of this great House, I rise before you to ask your favorable consideration on House Bill 275, LC 392928S. House Bill 275 is a clear bill that dates back to the mid-'70s, which its tenured version allows for inmates in our Georgia Correctional Institutional Program to go through a Firefighter 101 program and to be a certified firefighter under these statutes placed on our Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council. These inmates are hand-selected by the Chief of the Georgia Correctional Firefighters System and the wardens of their state prisons. House Bill 275 is a jobs creation bill. It's an education bill. It's a reform bill, and a bill that can help rural Georgia and build hope that will give these inmates an opportunity to be better themselves when they return to our streets of Georgia. This bill does not change that these inmates described in the legislation cannot, after being released, get a job as a firefighter. What this bill does is gives them an opportunity to get their EMT and paramedic training while they're incarcerated and after they have completed their basic firefighter 101. There's a part of this bill that mandates that new civilian firefighters that had formerly been incarcerated shall be drug tested twice in a 2-year period. It sunsets after 2 years. This bill does not affect firemen, EMT, and paramedics that have not been incarcerated. Mr. Speaker, Dean of the House, Ms. Smyrie, Majority Leader, Minority Leader, y'all have a great freshman class. I want to thank my 26 signees onto this bill and the support of my freshman class to present this today. I want to use a little Shakespearean passion and wisdom in my closing, quoting one of these smart people who worked for my freshman colleague, Mr. Leverett, as he used to escape this well. He used someone that I think lawyers like to quote. I'm going to use someone that funeral directors like to quote. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind of a freshman legislator to suffer from these yields I'm about to face, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortunes of these microphones in this room, or to take arms against a sea of troubles which lies upon these boards with all these names, and by opposing into them, to die, to sleep, or to quickly yield this well. This is a little Shakespearean MacDonald blend used in Hamlet. I'm done.
You got that from Representative Leverett?
Well, he used something to get him out of the well.
Well, I thought he only knew Porter Wagner.
Oh, that's...
Do you, have you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I was pretty enthralled with Shakespeare there and your version of him. But I think people heard that and they didn't get their questions answered. You've got several questions. Do you, and I'm sure you don't want to yield.
I'll try it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's start with one of your colleagues, not a freshman, but a funeral home owner. Chair recognizes Representative Bentley to the left, to your left.
Does
for
a
a
gentleman
question.
yield? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does a gentleman yield?
I sure do. Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it not true that you did not recognize me as the funeral home caucus queen in your speech just now?
I was getting to that, but I had to stop because I could feel what was going on behind me.
Okay. Is it not further true, Mr. Representative, that the real question in the funeral business is, can you pay for this bill or not? Can you pay for this funeral home bill or not?
Always ahead of time. Yes, ma'am.
And the last question, is it not further true that if I support your bill, that you will help me draft a bill to ensure that Walmart cannot sell caskets in the state of Georgia?
Nor Costco.
Thank you. I will support your bill.
You got some more questions?
Does it look like a Christmas tree back there?
Excuse me?
Look like a Christmas tree?
I think a forest might be more accurate. Let's see. Chair recognizes Representative Ridley to your right.
Does my fluffy friend yield the well?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you said in this bill here that it provides education and role modeling. Is that what you said? That this program
I said
does?
reform.
Reform
Yes, sir.
and education.
Yes, sir.
All right. So up there in 612, you've been getting an education, and have you been getting any reform up there?
Not in the frat house, no, sir.
No. How about role models? Have you found any up there?
You are my role model every day. Because you wake me up
No
at 4
longer
o'clock
quit.
in the morning.
Lord have mercy.
I wouldn't be telling everybody that what time we get up in the morning.
Chair recognizes Chairman Collins to your left. The funeral caucus is just Not satisfied right now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that this bill is going to bring much-needed help to fire service in Georgia? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Rural Georgia and throughout other areas where EMTs and paramedics they're tired due to COVID. They're a lot of job changing. Yes, sir.
And one more question is it?
Yes, sir.
Is it further not true that when you came to my office asking to have this hearing, that you did say that I had the best hair of anyone in the funeral home caucus and not the queen? Is that right?
No, sir. That is not correct, sir.
Thank you for this bill.
Do you further yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Al Williams to your left for a question.
Will the gentleman yield?
Always for you. Yes, sir.
You look very familiar. Another guy I know that's about 6 inches shorter than you, but is it not so that, like the speaker, I was so moved, and I'd never heard a freshman present a bill with so many pluses for the consumer. I was taken by your concern for the living. I really was moved. And so, is it not so that you want to take care of us on this side of the river and get paid to go to the other side?
That is true, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for the bill.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Members voted. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 275. The ayes are 132, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 409.
House Bill 409 by Representative Gunner, the 8th, to be entitled an act to amend Article 4, Chapter 15, and Title 45, the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to counsel for public officials and agencies, so as to provide for a process for state-funded representation of certain judges in legal actions resulting from performance or non-performance of their official duties. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Gunter to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Judicial Legal Defense Fund bill. Generally speaking, when lawsuits are filed against judges, the Attorney General's office will represent them as a courtesy. But if the lawsuit happens to include the governor or any other member of the executive branch, they are conflicted out, and that leaves the judges without representation. This bill is designed to take care of that. There's a commission that will be formed in this bill, 5 members appointed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Speaker, the President of the Senate, the Governor, and the Council of Superior Court Judges. They'll serve for 2 years, and they will make a recommendation to the governor after following the procedure that's also set up in this bill. When you get sued, you have 30 days to file an answer, and this sets out the time frames for the judge to notify the commission and for them to go through their process and make the recommendation to the governor. Hopefully, there should be a few days left at the end of that would allow for an attorney that's appointed in the case to file an answer. The governor controls this. The commission only makes recommendations to the governor, and the fund that this comes out of is the governor's emergency fund. So I yield for any questions.
You do not appear to have any questions.
Thank you. I yield the well.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 409. The ayes are 134, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 509.
House Bill 509 by Representative Gaines, the 117th, being titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 30, Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to group or blanket accident and sickness insurance. This bill having referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Gaines to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 509 is a measure that will ensure that Georgians pre-existing conditions are continued to be protected for Georgians. If the Affordable Care Act is found to be unconstitutional in the Supreme Court, or if Congress were to repeal portions of the Affordable Care Act that protect pre-existing conditions, this will ensure that we continue to do so here in Georgia. Happy to answer any questions.
Do you yield for a question?
I will.
Chair recognizes Representative Davis in the gallery for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Is it not true that on lines 32, 33, it is stated that insurance policies in this state shall make at least one reasonable price comprehensive major medical health insurance policy available to residents? Is that not true?
It is true.
Does the gentleman further yield?
Sure.
When it comes to reasonable price, would you not say that a $400,000 home is a reasonable price for a millionaire, but unattainable for someone working on a living wage? So the question is, what would you consider reasonable?
So what we did in this legislation is the Department of Insurance has to approve would have to approve the rates and the plans offered by insurance companies, and that gives legislative intent to the rates that they would approve, and so that's why we included that language in the bill.
Do you further yield?
I will.
Chair recognizes Representative Park in the gallery for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Is it not true Republicans have led at least 70 attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act and failed?
If that's the number,
Is it not
if you
true?
think that's true.
Thank you.
Do you further yield?
I'll yield for one more.
Chair recognizes Representative McLeod in the gallery to your left for a question.
Is it not true, does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Is it not true that Georgia has never expanded the Affordable Care Act and the expansion of Medicaid?
That is true.
Okay, thank you.
Ultimately, what this measure is about, though, is protecting pre-existing conditions, and that's what this bill will do. And Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to yield for one more question if there is one.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Kelly, to your right for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Representative Gaines, isn't it true that this body in the last term worked with our governor to pass a Medicaid waiver opportunity so that more Georgians would be covered?
That is true, and I believe that measure is going to, as we've discussed in the last term, is going to increase access and lower costs for Georgians across this state.
And will you yield for one more question?
I will.
Isn't it true that we here in this body don't have any control of what they're doing in Washington now, or at the Supreme Court?
That is true.
And will you further yield?
I will.
Isn't it true, though, that what we're doing today is giving us an opportunity, should the Affordable Care Act ever be struck down, to make sure that Georgians continue to be protected for their pre-existing conditions?
That's right, and that's what this measure is all about, is protecting pre-existing conditions for Georgia families. Mr. Speaker, I'd ask for your for the body's favorable consideration, and we yield the will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 509, the ayes are 121, the nays are 11. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 77.
House Resolution 77, a resolution supporting the creation of a state veteran cemetery in Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia, and for other purposes. It's brought by Representative Prince of the 127th. It's referred to the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, and that committee recommends that this resolution be adopted.
Chair recognizes Representative Brian Prince to present the bill. Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Resolution 77 basically supports the creation of a state veteran cemetery in the Augusta area. This is part of a packet that the Senate has already done a resolution. We have Congress people who've also are supporting this effort that would go to the Veterans Administration as a part of their annual grant program to get funds to have a veterans hospital in our area. Subject to your questions, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the will.
Do you yield for questions?
I do.
Chair recognizes Chairman Fleming to your left for a question.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to the gentleman in the well, is it not true that I appreciate your efforts and the whole Augusta area delegation working on this project? And isn't it further true that because we have so many veterans in the Augusta area that this is the next logical place in Georgia for one of these cemeteries?
I think the gentleman knows what he speaks.
Do you yield for one more question?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House to your right for a question.
Gentleman yield.
Yes, sir.
Where is the nearest cemetery to Augusta and Richmond County?
It's in the Milledgeville area.
Milledgeville. So thank you for bringing this bill. This is really important and sorely needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
You have no further questions.
I yield the will. Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution. The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. What purpose does Representative or Chairman Houston rise?
Okay, I was just sitting down.
Thought you had a parliamentary inquiry, maybe. Okay. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of House Resolution 77. The ayes are 132, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 395.
House Bill 395 by Representative Belton, the 112th, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 10A of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to professional counselors, social workers, and marriage and family therapists, so as to revise certain licensing provisions. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes the chair of the Industry and Labor Committee, Chairman Werkheiser, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Must be nice to have so many bills to need so many substitutes. When Chairman Powell presented Chairman Belton's first bill, he was at $35,000. I believe he's been cleared to $42,000. This bill, as I believe, if I'm keeping count, is the 8th of 8 compact bills that this House has done over the last couple of years, and this is for professional counselors. It merely allows those, especially military spouses, who have completed all the requirements in their own state and then meet the minimum requirements in the state of Georgia, to hold that license and to practice in the state of Georgia. Now I'll stand for any questions.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd ask for your favorable consideration on House Bill 395.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 395. The ayes are 133, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. House Bill 86 will be postponed until the next legislative day. For what purpose does Chairman Houston rise? They tell me you should be good now.
I move that the rules be temporarily suspended so that a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Chairman Houston has moved that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee. The clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill of Representative Houston in the 170th, being titled an act to amend Title II of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to agriculture so as to create the Georgia Farmers Market and Produce Terminal Development Authority.
On the motion of Chairman Houston that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Agriculture and Consumer Affairs. What purpose does Chairman Cantrell rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move. I'm not prepared to make my motion yet. I'm sorry.
Well, let me help you out here in the interest of time. Are you wanting a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee?
That is correct, sir. I'd like to move to suspend the rules so that a bill could be read for the first time and sent to committee.
Excellent job. Excellent
Thank
job, Chairman Cantrell. Great recovery. Chairman Cantrell has moved that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee. The clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Cantrell of the 22nd, being titled an act to amend Code Section 28(1)(8) of Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 45, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to salary and allowances of members and officers of the General Assembly and general provisions regarding salaries and fees for public officers.
On the motion of Chairman Cantrell that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. The measure will be assigned to the Working Group on Public Service Compensation. Any referrals from that group will go on to the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read the, you might want to hear this now. You might want to hear this piece of business. Clerk will read the caption to an unnumbered House resolution.
Unnumbered House Resolution by Representative Burns, the 159th, a resolution relative to meetings and adjournments of the General Assembly.
The chair recognizes the majority leader of the House to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, you can see the resolution, adjournment resolution on the board, and certainly I'll express my gratitude to Majority Leader Dugan and the Senate and their work as we all pulled together to make sure we had a adjournment resolution here that's respectful of everyone's time and our efforts as we work through the remainder of this session. And as you can see, we will next week, obviously the resolution we're working under now has us in on Monday. Then we will have a committee work day Tuesday, session on Wednesday, committee work day on Thursday, and session day on Friday, and then crossover day, day 28, will be on Monday, March the 8th. I'll let y'all read it down to the date we all are paying attention to, and that's Friday, March 26th is a committee work day. Monday, March 29th, we will convene for legislative day 39, then a committee work day and sine die on Wednesday, March 31. We will be out of here in time for Good Friday, which is important to us all. I think this adjournment resolution, as I say, in conjunction with the Senate, is respectful of the members across the hall and will allow us to get the work we need to get done, the important work we have that remains, the remainder of this session that has begun here and it will come to us from the Senate. So I would ask for your favorable consideration. I'll answer a question, but I think it's pretty firmly stated forward there, and we hope you will support our adjournment resolution. Any questions, Mr. Speaker? I'll take them. If not, I'll yield the well.
Well, I just wanted to be real clear that please express to the Senate the appreciation of the chair that they corrected their typographical error on crossover day.
I think the message was just delivered, Mr. Speaker. So, but we do appreciate them working with us, and this, I think, is a good adjournment resolution and allows us to do the great work we're doing under your great leadership. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have a question if you care to yield.
Yes, sir, I would yield for one.
All right. It's a good one, I know. It's from the Dean of the House, Dean Smyrie, to your left.
I can remember the days when I used to work on the calendar and knows what goes into fixing a calendar for this Georgia General Assembly. So I just want to tell you, and my hat's off to you and the Speaker and the leadership of this House for bringing us something back that is so certain. And now we know when we're going home and leaving the people's business. So I just wanted to make that comment to you publicly. And calendar setting is not an easy job, and especially when you have to deal with the Senate in setting it. So congratulations.
Thank you, Representative Dean of this House, Calvin Smyrie. We appreciate those kind of words, and you are correct. But with the great leadership of our Speaker and our leadership team on both sides of the aisle, this has worked out. And we appreciate the Senate as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll yield the well.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adjournment resolution will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the adoption of the adjournment resolution. The ayes are 121, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted, and the end is in sight. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Congratulating and commending ZEP. Recognizing and commending McCole Ledbetter, the 2020 Volunteer of the Year. Congratulating and commending It's About Time Boutique, the 2020 Small Business of the Year, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privilege resolution.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. Before we go on to announcements, we don't have many. I want you to join with me in wishing a happy birthday to, we got a number of members that have birthdays tomorrow, February 27th. Representative Buddy DeLoach is celebrating his 39th birthday tomorrow, and he's already gone to begin the celebration. Chair wishes a happy birthday to Representative Vance Smith. Chair wishes a happy birthday to Representative Matthew Gamble. Chair recognizes or wishes a happy birthday to Representative Beth Moore. Representative Moore. All right, we're going on now to announcements. Pay attention to the announcements. The chair recognizes Chairman Timothy Barr for an announcement.
Hey y'all, Code Revision Committee, listen up. Code Revision, we have a meeting, a quick meeting in 341. We do have a measure to address today, so we need folks there. 341 upon adjournment. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dollar for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. The Telecom Subcommittee will meet immediately upon adjournment right upstairs in 403. I know everybody wants to get home. We just have one bill, so hopefully not a short, hopefully a short meeting. Thank you.
It appears that there are no other announcements. Chair recognizes Chairman Martin for an announcement.
I just want to make sure everybody got the announcement. We have canceled the House Higher Ed Committee due to the late hour. There will be no House Higher Ed Committee today. We'll meet next week.
Now, I think, more announcements? All right. Chair recognizes Chairman Newton for an announcement.
Also, HHS today will be canceled as well. HHS meeting is canceled.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dickey for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Monday morning, 9 o'clock, Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee. Also, Monday is Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, but it cannot be in the Capitol, so it's going to be over at the Sloppy. So you're welcome to get your peanut butter and jelly toasted sandwiches, or you might could sneak some back in the offices, I don't know. But maybe down in the ag room might have some. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Last call for announcements. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've had a great week. Thank you for your leadership. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Monday, March the 1st, 2021.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Monday, March 1 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. It appears that the ayes have closely carried the day. This House will stand adjourned until Monday, March 1 at 10 a.m.